Hello, what is up? What is good? We have a new chapter of One Piece to read. This came out a few days ago now, but I've been a little under the weather. I'm still a little froggy, so I just didn't really feel like reading it for a bit. But I can't put it off too long because I'll start getting spoilers incidentally, just browsing around and stuff. I saw people talking about it in the manga Discord server I'm in, and that was a little spooky. So let's plunge ahead. This is chapter 1175, titled Nidhogger. Shoutouts to the person who pointed out the similarities to Nidhogg with Loki's fruit on my last upload. Seems like you were right on the money. That is indeed not just an inspiration, but seems to be the namesake as well of the fruit. Which, when you eat the devil fruit, you gain awareness of like what it is, what its name is, and the extent of the powers you have over it. So Loki eating it and not knowing that it was not the Nika fruit and still thinking that he's Nika the sun god is kind of interesting. At the same time, when Luffy ate the Gum Gum fruit, he didn't know he could stretch right away. Shanks pulled his arm and then they saw it was stretching. He didn't know it was the Gum Gum fruit. He just thought it was some nasty tasting fruit. So there might be something special in some circumstances where like the true nature of the fruit isn't quite revealed to you. It's obscured somehow for these kind of more legendary godlike fruits. I still kind of have the feeling that we're ultimately going to get the twist that like the Gum Gum fruit wasn't really special. It wasn't really the Nika fruit, but instead like all devil fruits are imbued with this sort of potential or something, that all of them stem from Joy Boy or the Kingdom of D or something even more primordial. Something like that, I don't know. D, devil, there's things there. By the way, today, Oda wrote down what the One Piece is for the first time ever, and they put it in a special capsule and then sank it to the bottom of the ocean, not to be revealed until the series ends, which in my mind validates me a million times over in thinking that the One Piece is a big drain that when you pull it out, it's a drain stopper, that is. You pull it out and then all the oceans drain away, left by Joy Boy, laughed at by Roger, and finally executed by Luffy. The putting it on the bottom of the ocean to me is like very validating for that theory. Also, just like reinforcing the idea that the One Piece like is something. It's a surprise, and that we're not gonna know until the very end of the series is all aligned with my expectations and all aligned with that theory. Anyways, let's get into the chapter. Very cute cover page. The revolutionaries hanging out with koalas. Sensibly, this is Koala, so makes sense. Her name is almost Koala. Okay. Dang, Sanji able to burn away the vines, the thorns left by Saint Somers with his Diablo Jambe, or whatever the fuck it is. Diablo, like devil leg. Whatever. What is it? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's like Diablo Jambe or something.
Diablo Jambe. Thank you.
He's also Sanji and not Sanji.
Well, whatever, man.
What
I have a cold.
His whole gimmick is his whole family is named
Yeah,
after
it's
numbers.
each Nissan, Yawn, Ray, San.
Whatever.
No time to celebrate. Between the hockey and the roaring, what's that shadow? I like that they kind of seem to assume that this is like another enemy, which I think is fair. Given that more and more enemies just are spawning out of everywhere. Okay. The parents all cut up from the sacrificial plunge right at the end. Loki, the village is in danger. Take the children somewhere safer. Not my problem. The only thing I'll do to people on my back is dump them off. It's biting the sleep heads. The sleep heads are freaked out by Loki. All of the children are safe. There are no longer any hostages. Crazy. The design of this dragon is so insane. It's very different than either the dragon on Punk Hazard or the dragon, of course, that Kaido turns into. This is much more like westernized. Kind of reminds me of Bone Tail from Thousand Year Door. Has that same kind of comical expression. Has almost a dog-like quality to it, too. I made a joke, I think, last time that Loki is going to be the Straw Hat's pet dog. Okay. All giant now. You guys should crush those demon monsters before they destroy all of Elbaf. Okay. Sommer's freaking out. He was very sadistically invested in seeing the kids die. The Brads are still alive and haven't failed yet. I can still take them to the Holy Land as planned. Finish off those half-dead parents now. It says grotesque thorn launcher. Looks like that thing at the end of Undertale. Flowey. Now it's my turn to protect Mommy. Nice, nice. I don't even care about the mission. Who should I kill first? He's so deranged. Okay, the kid's in imminent danger again. I like this kind of reversal that now the kids recognize that they are hostages, that they're valuable alive. They're taking advantage of that. That shows a lot of bravery and just awareness of the situation. They find this one small sliver of agency. Knocked away by Zoro, of course. Sure, sure. Okay. Luffy jumping down. Locking on, like Chopper back in the day with, he would do the scope point. Luffy with this scope hand okay sign. Blasts Sommers with the Dawn Thor rifle. An absurdly powerful attack. Nothing too crazy comical. You know, the Gear 5 specialty is bizarre attacks. This is fairly in line with like a regular Luffy attack. It's not too different than his previous rifles before. The only difference is that he absorbed lightning power here, touching one of these very like comically drawn lightning bolts that I think Loki summoned up. A combo attack of perhaps future shipmates. I don't know. Whoa, and Sommers is like ripped in half. The thorns falling apart. Finally got to see Luffy in all white. He looks just like Nika. He really is a warrior of liberation. It's Needhogger. Whoa. Must be Loki. I've never seen that before. Treasure of Elbaf. Devil fruit, a forbidden one. The dragon fruit mythical type. Model Needhogger. No matter who eats it, they will transform into the largest dragon in the world. And the maximum size of the beats corresponds to the one who eats it. I see. Okay. This is an odd digression. I think we all just kind of assumed this, but sure. The obsidian dragon breathes lightning and is so vast the day falls into night when it flies. Very cool, badass. Yes. Making sure no one eats it. Not quite. If anyone tries to eat the food, the guardian hamburger Ragnir blocks their attacks. Right. We saw this all before. Don't know if it really needs to be totally explicated, but sure. A warrior god wielded a weapon known as Ragnir, Iron Lightning, and turned into an enormous dragon to face off against the sun god. And then the ice squirrel, which is also Nordic mythology, the messenger squirrel that runs all over the branches of Yggdrasil. Without his master, Tosker chose to inhabit his weapon instead and waits his owner to return. Okay. So this is nice, you know, not just as explanation, but as kind of reinforcing the feeling of, like, catharsis and triumph that the giants are feeling, seeing this warrior of lore come to life. A couple interesting things here, though, is that the ancient giant warrior fought against Nika, which is not, I think, what we would expect, right? I think both of these are kind of good guys, we think. So it's kind of odd, but it could be just sort of like before the world government, before Emu, before, you know, the nations of the world were kind of driven back and the kingdom of D was annihilated. It could be kind of like a warring states period, you know, where all of these other various national gods and warrior gods and stuff were having more friendly conflicts, you know, not conquests of control and tyranny, but in the same kind of spirit in which Whitebeard and Roger fought before, fighting as friends, in the same spirit that probably Luffy and Shanks will eventually fight. Here as well, you know, we see them square off, but we don't really get a sense that this is some horrible bloody conflict, but instead, you know, this is just some sort of fated encounter, a duel almost, like the dueling giants. That's my only guess. Otherwise, it's like the lore becomes very complicated of who was a good guy, who turns good and bad, blah, 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 blah. I don't think it's going to be anything so complicated. It's going to be, you know, only one true evil, true disruption to the world, which is via the Emu and the world government and stuff. I just realized I took a nighttime cold med instead of a daytime one. That was foolish of me. Whatever. Take a daytime one later. Okay. And here he is in true power. Loki driving back the Sleeptids. Firing off a huge blast. Kind of like Kaido did. I really like that we have both like an Eastern dragon and a Western dragon, you know, embodying both of those types of designs, those types of powers. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Huge power. Insane amounts of power. Okay. Emu observing this via Gunko. Needhogger, that's where you are. I see, I see, I see. Okay. Okay. Good stuff, good stuff. It's awesome seeing the Loki dragon in full power. Some interesting lore questions. Nothing too crazy, though. Nothing too many big twists. But now it seems like good guys kind of back in control. Big thing they need to figure out is how to reverse the Dami Reversi. We need to flip the Othello stones back over once more, which is presumably something Luffy can do. But yeah, they got everybody else on the back foot now. I don't know. I don't really know how much further this conflict is going to go or how many more surprises we have in store. But I still want to know what is happening in the top layer of Elbaf, if anything. And what the heck is with the giant sword sticking out of Elbaf? I feel like those are two key mysteries that I don't know if they're going to come into play during this Giga Climax or if that will be like the setup for what's next or something. Also, they need to put out the dang fire in the library now. There's no more hostages. Save the books. That's the true treasure of Elbaf. Alright. That's all. See you in just a few days. Bye-bye.